Hi Rachit, welcome to the studio. Great to have you here. And just for the audience to know, Rachit is the founder of Stackby. He has studied at Michigan in the US and he's worked there as well. And he came back from there and he has set up his own company. So we'll hear from him a little bit of introduction about him, his product and team.
Thanks a lot, Prashant, for giving me an opportunity to participate, in the community. So really appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. Stackby's journey has been amazing in the last 2.5 years. Would love to share with the rest of the community. Yeah.
Great. Great, Rachit. So we would like to know a little bit about what this product is and what are some of the use cases, and then we'll maybe walk through a bit more as we go along.
Sure, absolutely. So Stackby, let me go a little back. How we started. So while I was working in the US, as you said, I was essentially a part of a corporate R&D group, at a large Fortune 500 company called Magna. So we used to do both venture capital investments as well as like advanced product management for our internal startups. So I was doing both due diligence for those investments that we were doing, as well as like leading the software development teams to to manage like a couple of internal startups or products in the software hardware space, in mobility autonomous vehicles and so on. So while my 3 or 4 years of experience, I was completely embroiled on spreadsheets. I would use spreadsheets for everything. Whether it is an investment deal flow management or portfolio management or due diligence tracking or product planning and so on. And as our teams were growing, the bigger issue emerged that we can't collaborate on spreadsheets. It just became super cumbersome to manage everything on multiple Excel sheets. That is all over our intranet. It's really hard to find and really hard to update those spreadsheets day in day out, right? So that was my life in the US. While I was still working for a big company, the tools that we had were really spreadsheets to work on. Right. So that was the biggest, irony I faced in my life. So during that time, an idea emerged because I came from an investment background that how about we build an investor deal flow management software, right? Like just for investment professionals. And when I started validating this idea, with a lot of, other investors in my network, one thing emerged that the market size is too small just to chase, investment professionals. And the basic premise still remained that a lot of people other than investment professionals would also rely on spreadsheets, like day in, day out. So as I started speaking to product managers, project managers, entrepreneurs, small to medium business owners, realized that almost always there is a spreadsheet in the middle of their lives, right? And the key thing emerged that why they use spreadsheets so much, because first of all, it was as easy to use, right? And plus it can be customizable to anything. Whatever you want to build out of a spreadsheet, you could easily do it. And spreadsheets have been around since the 1980s, right? So it has been in our psyche since the last 40 years. So that's how the whole idea clicked, that how about we build a software that is as simple to use as a spreadsheet, but it should give like a functionality of a full-blown software, like a CRM or a database. And that's how, we started. So we came up with a view. It was an ambitious plan, to build something from scratch, like a spreadsheet type of a software. But, heads down, we worked towards it, for almost 2.5 to 3 years in code development before we, release the product, earlier this year to the world. Yeah.
Great, excellent. And I remember these days, when I also use spreadsheets for so many things. And I mean, we used to have only Microsoft spreadsheets, Excel sheets, and then Google came in, and then there was more confusion because even at work, when we have this, when we give a reference to people saying that refer to this spreadsheet, and they say whether it's an Excel sheet or Google sheet, what is it? And
yeah.
So great. I think it's a great idea. Maybe the market, currently is looking for something more robust and, of course, as easy and convenient as spreadsheets. So great. I think that's a great idea, Rachit, that you have come up with.
Thank you.
So To understand a little more, how big is your team right now, and what were the major challenges that you faced? And I'm sure initially there may be a challenge in funding, getting the team set up, etc.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
want to highlight some of them?
Yeah, so we are close to around 15 full-time people, but like from a part-time basis, we at least have 25 people associated with us today. But as far as the challenges goes, the first thing I left a very good high-paying job in the US to move to a tier two city in India where there was no tech ecosystem. So I come from a place called Surat, where I have hardly seen any tech products come out of this place. Most of the companies in the city were taking up just external projects from different countries. So they were like more service oriented companies, and there were hardly any product ecosystem. So the biggest challenge was to find the right team members when we started out. But one thing that really helped us, that I stayed in touch. I developed a relationship while I was still in the US with a few engineers in India. So I knew that I was trying to set up a base before even moving back. So it was really hard to it took me, I still remember, it took me almost 2 months to convince one engineer to start working on this idea, right? And then one thing led to another. We got two engineers, we became 4 to 6. So it just happened gradually. And I think it was more of a trust building process, right? When you're setting up an early stage team, you need to make sure that they buy in with your vision, with what you want to develop. People have all these type of crazy ideas, and you need to also show credibility from your side, for those team members to trust you. So early days, of course, it was difficult. There were a few people who came in, who left thinking that, hey, this is not going to go anywhere, and probably they are regretting now that they should be part of this company. But that's life, right? And then I think thankfully, we have a very solid team. People who stayed with us over the last 2 years have been really like instrumental in building a global level product like this.
Great, excellent. So I see that your company is in the same line as Google or any other company, because initially Google went to Yahoo, to work, to collaborate, to get merged. They went to IBM, and they went to so many other companies. But then they established their own brand, such a big brand now that other companies are looking up to Google. So I'm sure
Absolutely.
Stackby has a lot of potential. And absolutely, I mean, when you talk about
Absolutely.
the team size as well, I think WhatsApp had a very small team, but they were still able to sell it for $11 billion. So I
Yeah,
think
I think there were 19 people, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think more than the strength, I think the passion, the kind of accountability that the team takes makes some the major difference. And I see that with
absolutely agreed.
Stackby.
Yeah, 100% agreed with you. I think it's really not about the quantity, of the team members. It's really about the quality. Whether those team members are taking up their responsibility, and they feel that it's their product, right? So that product ownership is very important. And the way it's a very non-hierarchical structure in our team, right? So people are taking up responsibilities of their roles. So even if if I'm not working, I'll make there are people who will make sure that things are moving. They know what needs to happen, right? So there's a lot of ownership and responsibility, and that can only happen when there is 100% transparency across the team, in terms of where we are, what our challenges are, and what are the weaknesses that we need to improve on. So I think we've always had this culture where transparency was number one, right? Transparency and honesty, with what we have, and we still maintain that as we grow the team.
Excellent. And I think that is what adds to the strength of any startup, any company that wants to grow big. Excellent. So so far I understand that Stackby is better than spreadsheets, but still convenient and easier for the beginners to use. So would you want to give us a quick walkthrough of what
Yep.
the tool looks like? And in the meanwhile, for all our SaaS lovers, here's a question for you, right? If you were to use Stackby, what would be your use case? And you can comment on this video. What would you like to use Stackby for? Great.
All right. So I'll quickly share my screen, Prashant.
Yeah.
Please let me know if you're able to see it.
Yeah, it's loaded now.
Okay. So, so let me give you a quick overview. I mean, we have done, long webinars, but, I want to get to the gist of it, very fast. So, once you log in with your, with your credentials, you enter into like a dashboard, for Stackby. Now, within the dashboard, there is a workspace. A workspace, for example, is your company or a department. And within the workspace, there are stacks. So stacks are individual worksheets. Think of it as an Excel worksheet or a Google worksheet. So, you can invite people both at the workspace level, right, and give them permissions, as well as both at the stack level, where you can still invite people and give them permissions. So for example, if I enter into this particular stack, so let's just say, so it basically looks like a table, right? It looks like a fancy table. So there is a table, there are rows and columns. Now, the fundamental difference between Stackby and a spreadsheet is that, on a spreadsheet, you're typically adding number, text, or date or time, right, as a data type. Here, what we have done is, because it's a database, columns are first-class citizens. So you can change, the information, of the columns, right? Like you can change the data types of, individual columns. So we have 25 different types of column types, from short text, long text, date and time, checkboxes, drop-downs, collaborators. You can add attachments and files, connect to any of your external storage, ratings. Then there are formulas. So formulas are also at the column level versus at the cell level in a spreadsheet. And the most important thing is, because it's a relational database, the most important thing of a database is that you can define relationships across tables, right? So if you want to link, say, campaigns table to channel table, you can easily link between rows between each of those tables, and then do a lookup or an aggregation, right? Plus, we also have like other things, like you can connect to a third-party API or a service, or even like convert this into like a button to send an SMS or a WhatsApp message. So let me quickly go over each of the column types. So here we have added like a single option column type, like a drop down. This is like a multiple option, so where you can add like multiple tags, right? You can add files. So if you click on the plus sign, so you can connect your Google Drive, Dropbox, Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, or even like just get a file from your computer. So for example, let me just quickly add a file. So upload the Stackby logo.
I really like this option of being able to attach files. Really nice.
So then you can add like individual like long text or notes, and this can be like completely customized, like this, like you can even expand a cell, to even write a big blog if you want. Then you have like a duration column type. How much time do you need to do it? So like, say for example, 100 minutes, and it will automatically take it into a duration. Then there is a number based, like a currency column type. So where if you can change the currency or a number, but if you try to write ABCD, it won't take, right? So it just will only take a particular format as you want. You can assign people, right? So as soon as you assign people, they will get a real-time notification, right? That saying that, okay, we've added to the record. Then you can add like ratings, right? Start dates or end dates, like a date time column type. So you can add checkboxes, right? And like, of course, like email, URL, and so on. So now, if suppose as I was talking about like a relational aspect, right? So what we have done is, say for example, we have a channels table. Now within the channels table, if I want to link any of the campaigns, so I want to basically show which campaign goes to what channel. So there is a column type called link. So if you like, so link to another row, and you just need to select a table to link to which rows you want, and you can just link. So for example, if you click on the plus sign, so all the records from the channels table will show up, and you can just click and link. So basically this particular content calendar, will be linked to the channels table automatically. So I've added it in Google Ad. So you will see it here. Let's see. Yeah, so here, so like the content calendar, has been added here. So basically it automatically links between, those two tables. Now, if you want to bring like how many campaigns, were linked to a particular channel, you can easily do a, lookup count that it basically counts the number of links. And then if you want to do a lookup as well, so where I want to look up based on these links, I want to look up, say, for example, based on the campaigns, I want to look up their status and apply. So it basically, brings me all the status of each of those campaigns, from this table. And if I want to like aggregate, so if I want to aggregate the total budget, right? So like from the campaigns table, I just want to aggregate the total budget and just create a sum of it, in a currency format. It just, basically creates a sum of individual budgets, taken from this table. Same way you could, I can aggregate the number of clicks that I've received, across each of those campaigns, right? So, so this kind of features makes it very powerful for any sort of a use case. If you want to link, products to clients, if you want to link, say, applicants to, interviewers, or if you want to link, say, campaigns to channels, of course, or campaigns to assets, you can easily link and define relationships across any two tables. And this is what, this is a gist of, what a relational database would look like. And what we've done is we've made it very easy for anybody to customize it according to their workflow. So then, just to, if you want to quickly search something, you can, do a search, right, on your database. If you want to hide a particular column, I can just hide it. If you want to filter it, say, I just want to see a filter where status is live. So I can easily filter those records, or even I can do this sort in the same way, right? By ascending, descending, or descending, ascending. Similarly, what I can also do is, so you not only see records in a table format. So we have 6 different types of layouts. So you can change this into like a Kanban style view, where all your records, now become cards in like a Kanban, and you can just drag and drop. It's like a Trello, functionality. You can also see it in a calendar view, where all the records are now in a calendar, and you can just say color coded based on the statuses, or you can add start date and end date both, right? So you will see, completely like in the calendar. Similarly, you can also see it in a gallery view, where all your records now become cards in a gallery, right? So you can easily move it around, or just add a filter here and so on. Now each of these records are individually openable. So if you click on it, I can individually open each of these records, where I can see the same information as I would see, but in a much more detailed layout, and I can still change the same information. But here I can make it real-time collaborative. So as multiple people are working on it, you can just chat with them, in real time. And as soon as you mention somebody, they would of course get a notification. You can see the history of the record, when was this added, who added it, create a checklist, do this or do that, right? Or even set a reminder on individual rows, and I can do it for all the other records that I have.
Great, this is awesome.
Yeah. So then there are a couple of other like smaller features. You can create your custom forms. So like drag and drop. So for example, you have to create like a campaign request form, and I want to bring say I've already added like all the relevant ones here. Say, but if I want to bring a certain column, I can like quickly add it here, right? And what I can do is I can just then click on view, and a form is created, right? So now this form can be shared, to anybody to collect responses, or even like embed it onto your website. So like a lot of our customers are have embedded these forms to collect responses from their websites or blogs and so on. So for example, if I want to add something, say webinar with the Facebook group is the campaign. The start date is, say for example, today. The end date is also today. The goal is to reach out to more people. Say budget is this. It's about content and stories. And if I want to add any files, I can just submit it. So as soon as a form is submitted, a new row is created here.
Interesting.
Here you go. Then I can easily manage it, right? So, okay, this is upcoming, any files that we need to add. Okay, the duration is going to be like, say, 60 minutes. And the channel is going to be, for example, YouTube, Facebook, and YouTube. And who's responsible? Say, I'm responsible, for example. Yeah. So you can easily, bring in information from anywhere you want. So yeah, that's a little bit, about the platform. Like, I mean, we also have like, so our biggest, USP is that we can also connect our columns to third-party services. So one of the things that I've realized is that today, there are so many APIs of, different services. And today those APIs are almost always non-accessible by a non-technical user. As a non-technical business user, I don't know how to access to these APIs. Only developers know how I can bring data from APIs, right? So we wanted to make it, easier for, non-technical people. So what we have done is we have connected columns to third-party APIs. So for example, I'll quickly give you like a rundown. So, here we have connected, to like the Google Analytics, API, where I just have to get the API key from the account. And what we have done is we have added like pre-built, API functions. So in this case, like with the Google Analytics one, we've added like some 12 pre-built API functions to bring a certain information. So in this case, I want to get users by a particular view within Google Ads, within Google Analytics. So I just need to get the IDs column to reference. I just need to reference this ID, and then the start date and end date, which I've added it here. So if I then just, click, on the information. So for example, if I want to, let's just change it so that we can get some data. I think the data is already live. So basically what it does is, so we basically bring all the information from the API call, and then you can create this into, particular columns. You can just add it to columns, and then you can just click on refresh to bring in the latest information. So if I want to just refresh the data, so basically all of this data would change in real time, right? It basically brings all the information in real time, right? Like this. So this is how, so you can also like track, a lot of the, data from different services on the platform. So we have 40 such, services that we've integrated with, all the popular marketing services like YouTube, Facebook, Facebook ads, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and so on, where most of the entrepreneurs and marketers, use these services to, manage and track their data. So the idea is, how do we plan, manage, and automate our reporting and data gathering in a single place? And that's what Stackby is all about.
Excellent. So you spoke about the USP, you spoke about the features, the API that the non-technical people can connect. Excellent, yep. Great. It was a great rundown or great walkthrough of the tool. So that said, what is the roadmap, Rachit, that we have for this particular tool?
Yeah, so we have quite a few exciting things coming. So we just actually submitted our iOS app, yesterday to the App Store. So we definitely have like completely redesigned mobile apps that are coming. So a lot of users wanted this. They want to see this, access tag by from anywhere, and it will just allow them to do it. It has taken us almost 1.5 years, in development, or to build those native mobile apps, both for Android and iOS. Because the test cases, the platform is huge, so there are thousands of test cases to manage. So our testing team has spent like sleepless nights in the last couple of months just to get to release. So that is one. And the second thing is we have automations coming. So like our internal automations. So if like tools like Zapier, or Integromat, where if something happens, trigger an action to something else. So we have, such internal automations coming where, say, suppose a new row is created in Stackby, it should trigger, for example, a new row can be added to another table, within Stackby, or it should, send an SMS, to somebody, or it should send a Slack message, to somebody. So we have such internal automations, coming. And plus we also released, like very recently, we released, like time-based automation on the API column type. So I'll quickly show you how that looks. So if you see, let's just say, this is a Facebook ads one. This is a campaign API. So there's a clock sign here. So I can schedule this. I can create an automation and I can set an automation, every 3 days, 7 days, 15 days, or a month. And, at a particular time. And I can select whether I just want the automation to run on new rows or all the rows. So once you schedule it, you don't even have to hit the manual refresh to bring the latest information. So all your campaign reports or your data reports will just keep populating as per your schedule. So you're focusing a lot of our efforts on automation, plus like a lot of small little things here and there are constantly coming. I mean, we are focusing a lot of our efforts on performance as well, that how can we scale this to 100,000 rows, right? And it should just take milliseconds to perform operations, right? So that's the goal, and we are working towards that. So there are at least 3 team members who are just working on performance. Like daily, they're just thinking about performance, nothing else. How can we make the user experience much better for the end user? So it is both like an opportunity as well as a challenge for us, because our user base is increasing. Every day we are getting new signups and so on. So we need to maintain and perform better than yesterday with a growing user base. So, and that is a challenge both from server side of things as well as from the architecture side of things. And even a smallest change would require like a developer to sit on it for at least 15 days to find that fix, right? So yeah, we're going through all that process to make sure the platform is better.
Great, excellent, Rachit. And I can think of so many use cases looking at the tool right now. I mean, not just CRM, we can track campaigns. And in these these times when we have digital marketing booming so very much, wherever we go, we have digital marketing. So keeping a track of all these campaigns in different systems, coming from different sources, Google, Facebook, and if there is anything more, it's very difficult to track all of that. So I can see that also as a great use case. I mean, amazing. It's been nice going through all this. Coming to how are you supporting the users of this? So I'm sure you have a user base already now. And what is the kind of support system that people can expect?
So honestly, we are known, Stackby is known for its customer support. So over the last 11 months, we have had more than 2,600 open conversations, from our users. And we could handle it with, with a 2-member support team. That's it. So, and if you see our customer reviews on G2 and Capterra, most people, talk about our customer support and prompt response. And, one thing is very clear, that we have a very customer first mindset, in the company. So even engineers are thinking, okay, what customer issues do we have to solve first when they start the day? They're not thinking, okay, what's happening on the product roadmap. They're first thinking the first 2 hours, of their day would start with solving customer issues first. So we make sure that customers are not stuck anywhere within the product, and they get solution right away. In some cases, it requires us to do like fundamental changes, spend sleepless nights to even do a small change, right? That would impact a customer. So we go at lengths to do it. So we don't shy away from that, and we are very transparent and honest to to the customers. So one thing I'm really proud of, our team is really how we deal with customers really.
Great, excellent. And what are the different channels people can use to seek support?
So of course they can email us on support@stackby, but we also have like a chat option here.
Okay.
So while you're in the product, you can, if you see this any questions here, there a chat will pop up, and you can just talk to us.
Wow, that's excellent. In fact, that also triggers one of the ideas that Stackby can be used for service ticketing as well. Troubleshooting, just like you showed the form. People can fill in the form in terms of what problem they are facing, or if there is any feedback, and it gets added to the list of the project management teams.
Yeah. We do have few customers actually using that. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So some small to medium business owners, across sectors are using it.
Great, excellent. So I think it was awesome, having you in the studio, going through the details, going through the vision that you have, understanding, what kind of team you have and what kind of support users can expect. So to end with, is there anything you would want us to highlight to the SaaS community here?
Yeah. So Prashant, so as we know, there's Black Friday, coming up. So we have launched our annual deal. So typically, our pricing is $9 per user per month. For the annual deal, we want to support, businesses to get started early. So typically it would be for 6 users, it would be around $650, but we are offering it for $199 for 6 users for 1 year. And which will also mean that once you sign up today, it will be the fixed renewal price till the time you're with us. So there won't be any additional cost, but you're getting all the features and benefits, of the platform. So daily we are improving and, adding more features, and everything. And for Black Friday, especially, we have extra 20% off on this $199. So it would mean like close around 90%, discount on our annual deal. So if there are any businesses, who are looking to, get into this tool where it's a remote work software, as we know, we're all working remotely, to improve their team collaboration and bring all their data in a single place, it's a perfect time to move it.
Excellent. So a message to all SaaS lovers. This is the time to make the most of it, and I'm sure everybody has got a list, shopping list for Black Friday. So I'm sure if you have got a list, put Stackby on top of it, because this is an amazing deal that you will get. I'm sure going forward you don't get such such chances again. So great, excellent. It was awesome talking to you, Rachit. And if users comment on the video, I'm sure we will be able to respond to their questions. If there's anything, we will come to you and seek more support.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Prashant, again for having me over. And it's really awesome to communicate with like-minded people. It's amazing about what you described about your journey. I think we spoke. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and I think you're also a digital transformation expert. So I'm sure we can also work collaboratively together. To support broader the broader community.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great. So awesome, Rachit. Have a great day ahead, and it was awesome talking to you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, Prashant. Take care. Bye.